Vipul Dayal's father-in-law died young, but he lived long enough to bring the first days into California. Long enough to build an empire to hotels, to start a charity. More than most, but I can only imagine what he would have done with more time. Decades later, Vipul has committed himself to extending that legacy. He asked his mother-in-law for her blessing to drop the Days In flag her husband had planted. That conversation is where our Turn On episode begins today. Aside from taking that hotel independent, Vipul and his wife also finished a charity his father-in-law started, but didn't live to see through. They built a leadership program inside it so that he could teach the next generation what his father-in-law never got the chance to. Vipul calls his framework ALL: advocacy, leadership, legacy. A.L.L. That's the kind of leadership we need in this industry. It's the kind of leadership possible as an independent. Worth your time. Let's roll the tape. Vipul, it's a pleasure to have you on the program. Thank you for joining the Turn Down today.
Thank you for having me.
I want to kick us off with our opening question, which is, what keeps you up at night these days?
Oh my God. Recently, what keeps me up this past few days actually has been AI. I've
How
been getting,
so?
yeah, I've been getting like all these like reports from COBIDs and just throwing it in there, and then just like I don't know. Sometimes like hey, my wife is like knocking on the door. Hey, it's midnight. Time to call. Time to go to bed. There's so much data out there in the PMS that I love it, that just been using it, just getting all this small stuff about guests and patterns, and just it's been amazing.
So you're thinking this AI, I guess, trend is changing how you look at information?
100%. And if you don't, I mean, it's going to be the future. If you don't do it now as hoteliers and you're still stuck in the archaic system, you're going to be left behind. Honestly, I just read a statistic that 24% of the people of guests are making reservations and bookings and bookings through AI.
Wow.
So if you're not getting searched on AI, your hotel's not getting searched on AI, then you're losing out on this opportunity. And it's just
Yeah.
going to be bigger and bigger. The kids, I have 3 kids, and they're using AI nonstop. So this is going to be the future.
I'm trying to keep my kids from using AI to do homework.
Yeah.
I wonder how that's going to work.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about you. You've done so many things in hospitality. You've been an operator, investor, coach, community builder. You know, what made you become a hotelier to begin with?
Mm. That starts with my parents.
Okay.
They were in the hotel industry in 1979,
Okay.
and still in the hotel industry, I should say. Though he doesn't do much like day-to-day operations, more of an investor type. But yeah, him and my mom and him, they're the ones that started it all for me. And then I took a detour. I went to I'm a biology major, and
Nice.
so I was a couple years I spent as a research scientist, and then I decided to go to law school for a little bit, and then here I am back into the hotel industry again.
Which was driven by a sense of duty or a sense of,
Yeah, that's a good question. Unfortunately, my father-in-law passed away, and my wife is the only child,
okay.
and he had a big empire, big probably in the 80s. They probably had like 20 to 30 hotels.
Wow.
So he was big time. And then like typical like in my parents' generation, my mother-in-law, she kind of kept just like she didn't know too much about the businesses, and she just kind of took care of the household.
Yeah.
My father-in-law was doing all the business stuff. So
Yeah.
she had no idea. I remember she was asking me one after he passed. He goes, "Yeah, Vipo, so we have 4 bank accounts, right?" I'm like, "No, mom, you have 14 bank accounts." Like she had, like poor thing, she had no idea. So we moved over there for a little bit in San Francisco, where hotels are at, and we kind of just started this hotel management empire. We dove right back in
That's
into
so
the industry.
funny. Yeah, that's amazing because now you're running a independent hotel, right?
Yes. Yeah, so we converted. It used to be a Days Inn. Actually, we converted it to our own independent hotel brand, which was amazing
That
experience.
congratulations. So you
Thank you.
launched, you kicked off your own, hotel company as within that
Yeah,
portfolio.
yeah. Our own hotel management company, which then created the brand uh, to replace the Days Inn.
And for the listeners who don't know your property, right? You've converted it, if I'm not mistaken, right at the onset of COVID. Is that
Oh
correct? Like,
yeah, so we became independent February 28th,
mhm.
2020, and California shut down March, like officially shut down. We were already getting there, but we officially shut down March 18th. So all this budgeting we had, all this the marketing plan we had, all these plans we had thrown out the window because you couldn't plan for anything. Everybody was just living day to day. Honestly, we didn't know what was going on. The world didn't know what was going on. So we were just trying to survive.
Dare I say, how did it go on? You're still around, so it must have there must have been some happy ending in here.
Yeah,
How,
it was good so twofold on that. One is we took really good care of our employees. Um, Even though we couldn't, give them a regular paycheck, we still give them gift cards so that they could get grocery and stuff like that. We still had meetings every once in a while. So we still kept them engaged. So that helped. Well, because I knew this was going to be temporary, right? We're just nothing would usually last forever, and so what's that, and then a lot of government assistance. Luckily, that helped as well once we got out of COVID.
sure,
So we're still here, and then we're still surviving, doing better every year. Actually,
that's fantastic. You base your philosophy, as an operator, investor, coach, and community builder around the acronym of ALL: advocacy, leadership, legacy. I love that. I want
yeah,
to. I want to copy that. Can you give
yeah,
us an overview of why you chose these and why they're so
yeah, sure.
important to you?
So in the hotel industry, A stands for advocacy.
Mhm.
I am big time involved in advocacy because if we don't do it as an industry, guess what? Somebody else, our opposition, is going to do it. They're already doing it, right? And for us, especially being in California, labor unions are our number one. I shouldn't say enemy, but our number one opposition. If we don't advocate for ourselves as an industry, then they're coming in and just they're just increasing this minimum wage, increasing. This is a bunch of headaches that as a small time independent operator, we don't want to deal with. So I'm involved with California. I'm on the board actually of California Hotel Lodging Association, which is the largest state hotel association here in America. And I also was a board member of AHOA, which is Asian American Hotel Owners Association,
Mhm.
which is the largest hotel owners association in the world. So from there, I learned a lot about advocacy. And then leadership, the L stands for leadership. I strongly believe in empowering employees, empowering people to be the next leaders of, because I know we're not going to be here forever. And empowering our people so that they can become great leaders. And then the last one is my personal favorite. You can see from my background here, legacy. That's something that's very important to me. Like I mentioned earlier, my father-in-law passed away at a very young age, and he's left a great legacy. Every time I talk, every time somebody talks about him, I'll notice their face, and they always have a smile. He
Nice.
was a community builder, or he was a operator, or he was an investor. So I learned a lot of stuff from him, and my dad and my parents as well. So love that acronym. It stands for everything who I am. Honestly,
That's beautiful. And it sounds like you want to leave the place, in a better place, or you want to leave the world in a better place.
100%. That's why everything I do honestly stems around that. And, not only for my kids but for the industry.
Yeah.
Especially the Independent Hoteliers Committee. I mean, independent hoteliers in America and everywhere actually. I say committee because I'm part of AHOA's Asian American Hotels Independent Hoteliers Committee.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of stuff through there to educate the independent hoteliers and stuff like that. So it's been great spreading the knowledge.
You took the courageous decision of creating your own hotel brand. What made you stop being a franchisee?
For us, it was hard because days in what we were, my father-in-law brought in the first days ins into California
Wow.
back in the 80s. So that was a lot of history. And this
Hmm.
was one of them.
Hmm.
And so there was a lot of history behind that decision. I wanted to ask my mother-in-law if that's okay, and she said it was okay. Uh, but yeah, it was a tough decision, but in the overall end, it was great. I created like this 6 course module about how to turn because there was nothing out there. You could hire this expensive consultant to do like tens of twenties of thirties thousands of dollars in order to get your hotel independent. And then when I interviewed them, they didn't know it was not much good information. They were winging it too. Seems like so I decided to create my own. I wrote down a lot of stuff to help other people when they wanted to become independent,
Hmm.
and so yeah, that's where my I just thought, especially the market that I'm at in San Francisco, it's very conducive to independent properties.
How
People
so?
love it.
How so?
They 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 come to San Francisco thinking like they want to get like this boutique independent feel, and which is San Francisco. The whole market is like that. There's a lot of great independent boutiques out there, and
Nice.
so the people crave that. People love that, and so that's one of the reasons why we decided to create our own brand.
It almost sounds like you think, as an independent hotel brand, at least given in your location, that you may be more successful.
Yes, the market definitely helped. Um, I I do think that there is a simple formula um, that one could use to see if they want to go independent. I used it myself, uh, which is if 80 if for us, I'll just give you an example. For us, 80%, 70 to 80% of our reservations were coming from OTAs, right? So that means 20 to 30% of our reservations were coming from the brand.
Hmm.
But the brand, I was paying like if you add up all the nickel and diming that they do, I was probably paying 15% in order to get that 20 to 30% of business.
Okay.
So that means if you just do the simple math, that means if I want to get rid of the 20 to 30% contribution, I probably have to come up with 10 to 15% of revenue becoming independent. And how can I do that? Easily, just raise the rates. Because what we were an economy brand. And so being in San Francisco, when we were full, we were charging like $200 to $300 a night. And in the people's mind is like, wait, you're an economy brand. How are you like you can't be charging $200 to $300 a night,
Yeah.
but that's where our market dictated because San Francisco was just growing at the time. And they're like, wait, so there was a stigma. And so when I became independent, the stigma was no longer there. And now I could charge, those $200 to $300 nights, so it became even higher. Like this actually today's a prime example. There's a big convention in town and we're charging a couple $100 a night. Almost 2, 3 times our average.
Congratulations. So in essence, one validation point is your business mix, right? So
Great.
the current brand contribution or the current franchise contribution.
Yeah, that's very
And
important.
then I guess the second question is, can you replace that business easily, or, you know, compensate for potential revenue loss easily?
Yeah, and that's where the planning comes like way ahead of time before you decide to go independent. Like almost a year in advance, just to make
Okay.
sure. A lot of people don't do this thing, which we did at this hotel, which is called a feasibility study. Have you heard of that?
Okay.
Yeah, feasibility study.
Yeah.
It's that's we paid I think $7,500 at the time, or maybe $10,000 at the time, but it was amazing experience for us. The one thing it did for us, it showed us that hey, there's no 3 star or 3.5 star property in your comp set, and we were like, well, our current franchise was like 2 to 2.5 stars. So I was like, wait, what does it take to become a 3 and 3.5 stars? Come to find out, it was quite easy. You
Okay.
just add a couple of more like amenities, and then there we go. We raised the rate. So to answer your question, that we found that going a little bit higher and adding a couple more things allowed us to get that rate differential, to get that monetary difference that the brand was contributing.
You found consultants? How did you do the market research? Like, how did you come up
Yeah,
with
there's about four. I interviewed like four people. There's big companies, real estate companies here, like CBRE, HVS, some of these big research companies that they'll do the study, a feasibility study.
Nice.
But too many, like I said, too many times people don't do it. They usually do it. They usually do it at the beginning, like if you're trying to build a hotel, and they usually try to do that then. But they don't do it when they're trying to convert, which I highly recommend to people. If you're trying to convert from franchise to independent, get that feasibility study and see how much ADR is in the market, because that will help.
It almost to your point is a check mark, right? If the feasibility studies tells you that it's possible or gives you the confidence that it's possible, it just makes it more palpable, if you will.
Yeah, no, 100% right. Yeah, it just gives you that validation. Because in your mind you might be thinking that, oh, this is a great idea. Look at my neighbor; he did it and he's succeeding and stuff like that. But it's just sort of, for me, it gave me the validation. And I know it seems like a lot of money, um, but I tell you right now, in the overall, overall plan of going independent, it's nothing.
Huh.
Yeah, it's very minuscule. I almost consider it almost like an insurance type thing.
Yeah.
Like a
I mean, you made that decision probably at some point in 2019 because you launched
Yes.
your independent brand in 2020. Rewind the clock for a minute.
Yeah.
What would you recommend yourself? Had I known this, I would have done something differently. What would you tell yourself in this whole process?
Well, for COVID, everything kind of wrecked.
Okay,
All my
fine.
plans wrecked COVID. But I will tell you, in 2019, as a franchise, it did the best ever in the history of the hotel. Like the
Okay.
most, like revenue of over $2 billion for a small 48 room size hotel. So, which is amazing. Um, so that was that. That, and then so if you go back to the beginning, first of all, we knew that the contract was expiring. Our franchise agreement was expiring. There was
So
a
there's an
window.
opportunity for you
Yeah,
to
to
right.
exercise the right to get out, right?
Yeah.
So we were debating, like, okay, we have this date. Let's do all this research so that when this date comes, we know whether to exercise this right. Because if we don't do it, we're not that we're stuck, but our contract was like another 3 more years after that.
Mhm.
So we did like a year of research, feasibility study. I interviewed some of my neighbors who already went independent and see what they thought. Um, I updated some of my stakeholders, because one thing that the banks don't like is you going independent, because they love a franchise. They have the backing, they have the SOPs, they have there's validity already behind that. You going independent, the banks don't like that. So, and actually, one thing I find out, a lot of people don't know this, is that it could call your no. It could be a default. If you go independent and you don't tell them that you're going independent, it could be a default, and they have a right to call your whole note for your loan.
So you need to speak to your bank as well. Is that one of
Yeah,
your check marks
that's where the
before?
check marks. Module 3, or I think it's module 4 on my module, my class, is
Yeah.
updating your stakeholders. Like, get an attorney,
Yeah.
a real estate person, updating your bank,
Yeah.
your suppliers, because they might have your suppliers, for example, might be going on franchise like costs. Like, you get a cheaper cost. Now all of a sudden, you as independent, as one person, as one hotel, your costs are going to go up higher. Marketing plan up. You have to get before, the franchisor was doing all your marketing for you, or helped you create one. Now guess what? You're on your own as an independent. So you have to update your marketing plan. So yeah, that's one of the modules. First,
So
the first module is, are you ready? That happens at the very beginning. Like, you might think you're ready, but once you do the research, you might not be ready. You might be like, oh, you know what? I should stick with the brand.
it sounds like you learned a lot and you created
Yeah,
this program in the context.
I
But is
did.
there anything you would have told yourself, had I known this, I would have done something differently? What would you have done differently?
Good question. If I would have, I think I started the process too late.
Okay.
I should have started, like I said, a year earlier, but I think I started in only a couple months, and I was cramming through stuff. Um, so that's number one. Number two, honestly, I should have done it earlier. Um, like there was a point 3 years down the line earlier where I should have went independent.
Okay.
And I did it, and I got scared. Maybe it was because I was scared. I had the backing of the franchise that we're doing great, and so I should have did it earlier. Yeah. Other than that, just review the financials. I should review the financials to make a decision faster.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very useful. Now, with this hotel, right? You
Yeah.
went independent. You created your own brand, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you come up with that? I mean, what inspired you?
Well, I'm not an expert at branding. I'm a
Okay.
biology major or brand.
Okay.
So I interviewed a couple of people,
Yep.
and I decided to use this one company out of LA who created the brand. Now a lot of people get confused about the word brand and branding.
Okay.
If you just take the word itself, brand, that's a noun.
Mhm.
And if you branding is a verb, right?
Mhm.
So people think like, oh, yeah, I put up a sign
Mhm.
and that's my branding. That's my branding or that's my brand. No,
Mhm.
that's not brand. That's your branding that you did. You
Mhm.
don't necessarily create. They think a sign is just like, oh, that's my brand,
Mhm.
or the logo is my brand. No, that's just part of the branding process.
Mhm.
So that they helped me learn a lot about creating a brand, what was missing in our comp set. They also helped me to make every other decision easier. So meaning like if I wanted to go out and get like I mean this is a very like a small detail, but if I wanted to go out and get a red rug for my hotel, well, that's not part of our brand, right? We had our own color palette. We had our own voice and tone
Mhm.
for our website. We had our own taglines. We had our own. We were a black 1950s themed hotel, old school, uh,
Nice.
and that was lacking from our comp set. So it was a great experience. Brand,
So smart investment, highly recommend to anyone launching their own independent hotel.
100%, 100%. I would tell you that again, like in the long run, it will make your decisions easier.
Mhm.
It'll make it'll be very cost effective, and
Mhm.
is for the guest that's looking in and going into your hotel. They love it because everything's one messaging. Everything's they're not scattered here and there. Which is guess what? With the franchisors do it all the time.
Yeah.
We just don't do a good job of it because they always do it for us. So yeah, it was a great experience. I loved it. I mean, I have my own font at my hotel.
Nice.
Yeah, I bought like a specific font for my
Yeah.
hotel, so it's great messaging. I love it. I love it.
And look, as I hear you talk about it, you must have plans to expand on
Yeah,
or build upon this. Is that fair?
yeah, we do. We have two other hotels that we're working on right now in San Francisco area. That's going to
Okay.
be part of the brand process.
So more to come, right? And
Or
leveraging that initial investment that you made, I guess, around brand development, I guess processes, procedures. You
yes,
now have a playbook.
exactly. Which is the same thing franchisors do. Same thing.
And I guess your bank or your to your point, your stakeholders now have also the confidence and can look at the success you've had with your previous
Yeah,
hotel.
that's why it's very important to have a good relationship with the bank, because they will they didn't like it at first, but because we went independent, but they can't deny it, my results as a
Mhm.
franchisee. They
Mhm.
saw like where when I took it over to where we were at the end.
Mhm.
Like they can't deny that. That's results. That's hard, fat results. And I spent all this time and creating a budget for them so they could see that when we go independent, it's gonna be even better.
Yep.
Uh, yeah. They loved it. And then my plans to expand, like you said, they were all in.
Are you saying they're giving you money now easily or
Oh,
more easily?
yeah, more easily, and it's tough. It's tough as a brand to get, I mean, as an independent to get hotels. I mean, to
Well,
get, financing.
congratulations. That's amazing. I want
Thank
to
you.
talk a little bit about community. You're very actively involved yourself, right? You mentioned that you're on the board of directors of the California Hotel Association. You were involved with AHOA. Why is this so important to you?
It stems back from, m my the word legacy, right? The trying to create a legacy, and so there's 3 different aspects to legacy, which is the first part is like like who helped me, who's helping me to create a legacy,
Mhm,
and so I go back to answer your question to my father-in-law and my parents. They're the ones that have helped me um, a lot to create this community. Like I've seen them become leaders in their community
mhm,
and to give back, which is very important. Strongly believe in karma,
mhm.
and what if you do good, then you should. Not that you get good things, but just the there's positivity behind that. Putting good in the world, putting good stuff out in the world. So yeah, I strongly believe in community, like helping others and helping my staff, whatever I needed.
So you encourage your staff to also be part of that same community.
Yes, 100%. They're part of my hotel.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they get business cards just like I do. Yeah, we empower them just like everybody else in my network. We cross train them. We have housekeepers that want to do front desk. Sure, let's go. Let's come, yeah, they're excited. They're like, oh, one of them was like a couple days after that. She's like, oh, I don't want. I thought I wanted to do this, but I don't want to do it. We have front desk that trains in housekeeping. It's just a community that we created.
Yeah. I'm always fascinated by the conversations of like an owners association, for instance,
Yeah,
because you have, 100, 200, 300 like-minded owners and operators sharing their challenges, sharing their opportunities, how they see things.
yeah,
And you may get a very unfiltered view,
yeah.
which is actually so refreshing. It's not what the brands tell you, it's not what the consultants tell you, it's what, it's actually what their challenges and opportunities are from their point of view.
I love it. Networking. AHOA, like I mentioned earlier, is 20,000 members. So imagine all the different views that you get from that.
That's an amazing community. And, you could probably tap into that community and ask questions,
Oh,
around what's your experience been? Um
100%. We actually 2 years ago we launched. Me being the head of the independent hoteliers committee, we launched our own independent hoteliers summit within AHOA. So we had about 300 people attend.
Yeah,
Last year was standing room only. We had more than 300 people attend, but
yeah.
it was from 10 to 3, just straight talking about independent hoteliers. Yeah, so it was, and the things that we learned, the things that they taught us. Whether the last session is always about Q&As. Like, hey, what did you think about today? What can we do different? Because it's always, I feel like it's always one sided. Like we're speaking down, not down, but like we're speaking towards the membership. Well, this is the last session is opposite. Everybody's equal, and we get to learn from you. What did you do about this marketing? What did you do about that? And then vice versa. They get to learn from us. It's
What's
been
the most common question you get?
uh the number one most common question I guess probably why did you go independent?
Okay,
Like what was the reason behind it? And I
okay.
always bring back my formula.
Yeah,
Like for me, financial was probably number one because we were already doing so good
yeah.
as a franchise, so we wanted to make sure to preserve that. And then I wanted to do it. There's part of me that's create. Not I'm not creative, but like I want to build my own legacy. I want to create my own brand. So that had to do with it too.
You wanna leave something behind. You mentioned you have 3 kids, right? Like,
Yes.
so
Yes, I want them to see, like, yeah, I want them to see the legacy actually.
yeah. Um, you must be investing heavily in teaching, staff, new leaders, etcetera, have things and, you know laborers has been very difficult to find good quality team members. At least that what we hear from hotel owners around the world, right? That
Sure.
staff and recruitment and retention is one of the most important things that they invest time and energy in. Have things improved with the next generation growing up, or are we still in the same situation right now?
So we have just kind of backtrack a little bit. We have my father-in-law created this charity,
Yeah.
which unfortunately he didn't get to finish it because he passed away. But my wife and I finished it on his behalf.
Nice.
And one of the things that we created was a leadership program. So, like you mentioned, there's been a gap. What we found out in our community, in our Indian community, is that the older parents are retiring, right? Just same thing in my situation. My dad and mom are close to retiring, and the young guys are coming in like, they got their chest proud, they're beating on like, I'm the leader now. This multi-million-dollar hotel. You do as I say. And the employers are like, and the employees are like, wait, we've been dealing with your mom and dad this whole time. Who are you? We haven't even seen you at the hotel. So we created this leadership program to address that issue. Like, hey, let's there's a three-step module. It's engagement, motivation, and accountability. So
Nice.
let's teach you how to lead with love is what we like to call it. And what that means is like let's get to learn. Like you mean like myself, I want to learn about you as you my employee. There's we don't have any employee issues at our hotel, and we've been lucky. But I'll give you an example. Like my manager, whenever our managers move on, one of the questions they ask him in the interview process is like, just to let you, or one of the things I tell them is like, hey, just to let you know, you're only working with me for 6 to 9 years, like at the most, right? And they're like, what? Why? Because well, my goal for you is for you to have your own hotel. So
Mhm.
guess what? Every single one of my managers has their own hotel to this day.
No way.
Yeah, and some of them I had to let them borrow money, but I don't care.
Mhm.
That's my goal for them. And once people hear that kind of mentality, they love working for us because we're building people up, we're empowering people, right? And so same thing that this course does is that it gets people to recognize, get to know their employees, and that's the engagement part. We do a test called, I don't know if have you ever heard DISC and motivators test?
No.
Yeah, it's like a personality test, but I do
Yeah.
it for all our key employees, all my managers, and for my business, all my businesses. And it gets me to know who they are
Okay.
as a leader, right? So, for example, the other day, we just hired somebody new, and this is not good or right or wrong or bad or anything. But one of the things that we learned is she's not one of those people that runs away from the fire. For example, she runs towards the fire. So guess what I did? I took the fire prevention drill from my managers and put that with her because she likes dealing with stuff like that. That's so she's in charge of fire prevention and fire safety. She just loves that sort of thing. And so it's not
So you're creating teams with personas that complement each other?
exactly right. Exactly. Yeah. So she's not a people person. Guess
Yeah.
what? I'm not gonna put her in charge with leading the tour. I'm talking about my wife's school. She has a
Mhm.
preschool. So
Mhm.
like I'm not gonna put her in charge of like leading tours for parents. That's not her
Mhm.
forte. I'll take it out of hers and put it into somebody that loves dealing with people. But again, that goes with getting to know your people. You have to know your people. And so spend the time to get to know your people. And then once you know your people, then it's easy to motivate them.
Mhm.
The One of the things that this test does, it it allows you to, have you heard that saying, do unto others as you want to be done, right?
Sure.
So that's the
Sure.
golden rule.
Yeah.
I believe in the platinum rule, which is like do unto others as they like treat others how they want to be treated,
Mhm.
right? Not to me, but how they like understand them, get to know
Mhm.
them. So that kind of revolves around this whole fantasy. I mean, not fantasy. This whole module about engagement, accountability, and motivation.
Nice.
Once you engage people and once you know what motivates them, it's easy to hold them accountable.
Of course.
It's easier, I would say.
Easier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, easier. So
Do you think that hospitality still has a reputation program? And I mean, I loved your references. Like, I'm going to hire you, and in 7 years, you're going to be running your own hotel, right? I mean, that's a great sales pitch for me, right? Like, um, however, are younger generations attracted to hospitality from your point of view?
More and more, I'm seeing them getting out, and
Okay.
not necessarily getting out, but they're not in the day-to-day operations like our parents were, like my
Yeah.
parents. So they're more of like, oh, let me hire a management company, or I don't want to do this, dad and mom. I want to do X, Y, and Z. So
Okay.
yeah, unfortunately, I'm seeing more and more of that in the
How
younger
do we
generation.
make it attractive again? Can we?
Uh, I, I, th- y- I think once they see the like all the freedoms that they get,
Hmm.
I think they're too stuck on like the past of like our parents working, 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 like doing everything. I think nowadays it's so much easier to like I don't live in any of the spaces where my hotels are.
Okay.
So which means I have a lot of checks and balances.
Sure.
There's a lot of communication involved with my managers, a lot of trust involved for my people. So
You're
I
no
think
longer the owner that lives on premise, right?
yes, exactly. In my culture, that was the big thing with my parents' generation.
Okay.
Biggest thing. So they still have this mentality like, oh, I gotta do all this work, but but not necessarily. Plus, look all the freedom you get. You get to make money while you sleep,
Yeah.
right? The reservations are coming in. You get to
Yeah.
have freedom if you want to travel, if your hotel's set. If I want to go and like work in Mexico, Cabo, I can't
Yeah.
because I'm already remotely as it is. So it's just kind of shifting their kind of focus a little bit from old school to like what it can be.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about the future, how you see things, fast forwarding in. But before we do,
Yeah.
I do want to do a quick rapid fire. So I'm going to
Oh,
give you a choice, and then you pick or you say what comes to mind, right? Right. There's no filter, there's no right or wrong, just what comes to mind, if you will.
so
Profit or freedom?
long-term profit over freedom.
Okay. Biggest mistake owners make?
I would say they don't do budgets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most overrated metric?
For me, I would say now occupancy.
Okay. Most underrated metric?
There's this new thing called TrevPAR. Have you heard
Yep.
about that?
Yep.
TrevPAR? Yeah, yeah. I think that's the most underrated. I think not too many people know about that still. I
And
like
for our listeners, define TrevPAR, just that everyone knows what you do.
yeah, TrevPAR is when you use like not just rooms,
Mhm.
but you use like your food and beverage, your let's say you have like a spa available at your like all these different things. To me, I use it in a little bit more broader sense, like taking every square footage of your hotel and see how you can maximize that square footage. Grocery stores do a great job of that. They put on the end caps, they put all the most things that they can sell, and they do a fantastic job of maximizing their revenue, their floor space.
Yeah.
So kind of the same concept as grocers do, but putting it into the hotel world.
If you could rewrite one industry rule, what would that be?
Probably that customers are always right. Our guests are always right.
Okay. So kill that rule. Is that it?
Yeah, modify it. 80-20. 80% of them are right. 20% of them are not so right.
Okay. So guests are sometimes right. Is that
Yeah.
your new role?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
I like it. One uncomfortable truth hotel owners need to hear.
Um, one uncomfortable truth that hotels need to hear. They probably need to hear that profit,
Yeah.
like short-term profit is not good for the hotel. I think they need to maximize long-term profits so that employee sustainability happens. Because that's for me, that's the main important part. Like I said, I'm not there at the hotel, and
Mhm.
so I need my employees to be there. And so yeah,
At all times. Very
yeah,
good. I asked you the opening question, what keeps you up at night, right?
yeah.
And you went quickly to AI, right? Which is sort of in everyone's, mind. I want to talk a little bit about the future, how you see, some technology, political, it doesn't matter, right? What we talk about, right? How it is potentially impacting hospitality from your point of view, right?
Mm,
What
technology and
what do you think are some major, I mean, we have some political unrest in the Middle East right now. We have some, travel bans happening left and right.
yeah.
Inbound travel is down in the US. But let's fast forward beyond that. How do you see things? What's your outlook when it comes to travel? And then I want to talk a little bit about technology as well. How are you thinking about the future?
I think the future actually is going to be really, really great once we kind of stabilize things. And we've already seen that happen right now. Yeah, the war, yeah, Middle East kind of. I was not expecting that, but people are slowly starting to become accustomed to what we're doing politically, what we're doing here in America,
Yeah.
and so it's making it easier. I feel like for them to travel a little bit better. But now with the Middle Middle East, it's kind of gone back to square one. It seems like, but I think it's what like for San Francisco. I'll give you a prime example. San Francisco was the first city in America to close down for COVID and the last city to open up in America for COVID. So
Okay.
it devastated the city. Like there's travel, like we still not recovered from 2019. But what goes down must come up. So we've been it's happening. We're not there yet since 2019, but we're slowly getting there. Slowly there. So I think we will probably in about 2 years, a year or two, probably next year, a year or two, that we should get there to our 2019 numbers. Some hotels, like my Dallas hotels, they're doing even better than 2019.
Wow.
So it just depends. Yeah, it just depends on the political who's in charge over there. Unfortunately,
That's
and then
that.
AI in the future,
Yeah.
technology. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
technology. Let's talk. I love technology. And I'm incorporating that more and more in our hotels. Um, and we do a lot of stuff at the hotels. We try a lot of stuff at the hotels. There's very technological driven. Um, but I love it. I think it's going to be the future. I think if we could enhance the guest experience through technology, it's going to be a win-win for everybody.
How
Um,
soon until there will be no more receptionist? What's your take?
I've already seen like certain hotels do that.
Okay.
Yeah, and matter of fact, I'm getting rid of my front desk. We have like a traditional size front desk, like a traditional, you come to the desk.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna blow that up and then like just create a couch, two couches.
Okay.
If somebody wants to come in and actually want to talk to one of my employees or a front desk,
Yep.
fine. They'll come from the back with a tablet. You have a seat on the couch.
Nice.
You get a welcome drink.
Yeah.
We have our own wine for the hotel, our own.
I'll come to see you. No
Yeah,
problem.
you get a welcome drink. Beer,
Yeah.
wine, whatever you want over there, and just relax. But I will tell you, and I know this is not a like a plug for cloud beds, but ever since we moved to cloud beds, that what you just said right there has allowed us like to do that even more where the guests don't even have to come in and talk to the front desk. They could
Wow.
just come in and go straight to the room, right? And as an independent hotelier, the big boys are doing that. The Marriotts are doing that. The Hiltons are already doing that. But for us as a little guy to be able to do that, I love that. That's just because I'm beginning to be like that where I don't want to go to the front
But
desk.
you know, sure, and thanks for the plug on cloud beds. I really appreciate it. I'm not going to say no to this, but my point is, it also needs an owner that actually wants that, right? That you want this as an experience, right?
Sure,
Because otherwise, we could offer you a great tool, but if you're
yeah,
not embracing it, if not, it's not something that you want to see happening.
true. I mean, that's what education comes in. So remember, I was telling you about AHOA, how we do this whole independent hotelier summit.
Yeah.
So part of our 2 sessions is incorporating AI with revenue management. So our first session, we're actually talking about like what is it? Like what is AI and what is RMS? Or how we got professors speaking about it and stuff like that. And then
Yeah.
the second session, we have actually PMS system that's gonna be talking about how they actually use AI and how they actually put it into RMS, actual implementation. Strategic, we're talking about like the actual philosophy of it, and then we're actually talking about the implementation. So
Right.
if you educate people, I think that's where it starts.
People, two closing questions. One is, what's your next trip where you're traveling to? Right, number one. And then number two could be personal, could be a business, whichever it is. And number two, your all-time favorite hotel.
Oh, nice. Okay, I wasn't ready for that one. All right. Um, where I'm traveling to, I'm kind of restricted on travel right now because of my situation. But when I do get to travel, I'm gonna go with my daughter and go see all these colleges. She's already been through one, two, three, four colleges without me.
Okay.
My wife is taking her,
Okay.
but I can't wait to go on this journey with her and trying to pick out a
Where would
college.
you like her to go to? Can you say that?
Yeah, I would love for her to go anywhere where Southwest flies within 3 hours. Where I don't have to get a connecting flight.
Okay.
I want her to be close. She's daddy's girl. I know this is
Okay.
being recorded, but all my kids know. I know you're not supposed to have favorites, but yeah, my first one, yeah.
It's
But
fine. This is a
somewhere
safe space.
closer, somewhere close. But she applied to all these schools for the East Coast, so that shit. Man, but
I
that's
I
okay.
don't know how to change that.
You know,
My oldest in high school, and at some point he will want to move as far away from me as possible.
that's exactly my situation. So yeah, that's where I want to travel. That'll probably be number one. My friend's having a birthday party in Aruba in August, so that's probably I'm looking forward to that part.
That's excellent.
Uh,
All right.
And then
All-time favorite hotel.
all-time favorite hotel has to be, ooh, I would say probably an all-inclusive hotel. No, I'm gonna go India. Yeah, I'm gonna go to India. There was one in Mumbai that we went to. Was it the Taj? I think it was the Taj. Where it was like hands down, like the service there is very very inexpensive, so it was unbelievable service. Like like head to toe. So I really like that part of it. They didn't have technology too much, but it didn't matter. The rules were nice too. So, but the service I really
All
liked.
right. We'll have to put that on the bucket list. Vipul, thank you for your story. Thank you for your insights. Thank you for spending a bit of time with me on this program. Really appreciate it.
Really appreciate for having me.
Thank you for listening. If you like what you're hearing, make sure you subscribe to avoid missing the next episode. It helps us produce better shows and get the most interesting guests. Thank you for your support.